Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air. Severe storms in the Northeast set to hit New York City to Philadelphia in the coming hours. The system from Kentucky up through Pittsburgh and upstate New York. Also, the mistake at the Supreme Court today. The document posted online for a time, revealing what appears to be a major decision tonight in an abortion rights case. And tonight, outside New York City, the tractor trailer right into multiple homes. First, nearly 80 million Americans under severe weather threats from Colorado to New York State. Dangerous thunderstorms, damaging winds coming tonight. Major cities from Washington, D.C. up through Philly, New York City to Boston, all in the coming hours, and Ginger Z is standing by to time this out. Also tonight, that Supreme Court mistake, posting a document online for a time, appearing to reveal the justice's new decision in a major abortion rights case involving women whose health is at risk and who are in need of an abortion in the ER. What the justices appear to have decided. Terry Moran standing by at the court. The presidential debate tomorrow night will air it right here live on ABC. President Biden and Donald Trump set to take the CNN stage in Atlanta. And the new poll just out tonight and what it shows who has the slight lead going into this. Tonight, will there be charges in the death of Matthew Perry? This evening, senior law enforcement sources and what they're now telling ABC News. In Russia tonight, American journalist Evan Gershkovich on trial for espionage. The U.S. calling it a sham trial. The Wall Street Journal reporter appearing before cameras for just minutes today. His head shaved in a glass cage. The first American journalist put on trial in Russia since the Cold War. Tonight, no verdict yet in the Boston trial making national news. The woman accused of killing her boyfriend, a Boston police officer, with her SUV. The defendant claims she never hit him, that it was all a police cover-up. And the tense moment in that courtroom today. Outside New York City tonight, the images coming in at this hour, a tractor trailer crashing into at least 2 homes. What we've now learned about the driver. Tonight, the special delivery soon on its way from China. 2 giant pandas and where they're now headed. And we remember a veteran actor from The Bodyguard to Night at the Museum to The Sopranos.
From ABC News World Headquarters in New York, this is World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Wednesday night. A major mistake at the Supreme Court, a document posted for a time online revealing what appears to be a major new decision in an abortion rights case involving women and the ER. Terry Moran standing by. We also have severe storms moving through the Northeast, New York City, Philadelphia, up through Boston, set to get hit in the coming hours. In fact, we've just been told a severe thunderstorm watch is up right now along the I-95 corridor, including New York, Philly, right through midnight. 80 million Americans on alert for severe weather. The system from Kentucky up through Pittsburgh, Scranton, right up through upstate New York and New England. Again, those major cities, D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, right up through Massachusetts. Tonight, at least 11 reported tornadoes in Nebraska and Iowa, this one near Cedar Rapids. Heavy rain and damaging winds up to 85 miles an hour, slamming Oklahoma City. Let's get right to Chief Meteorologist Ginger Z, tracking it all for us tonight. Hi, Ginger.
Hi, David. That National Weather Service just put out that new severe thunderstorm watch you mentioned until midnight because this thick air is primed for storms. And the severe thunderstorms are barely 70 miles to our west. There are already warnings on those that are about to get to Allentown, close to Scranton, and we're watching it closely. So there are also more storms in the south, Mississippi, Alabama with a watch right now. But let's track this northeastern part because by 9 and 10 p.m., it will already be through the tri-state. So all of Connecticut is also in the watch, Long Island too, and it actually goes down to just north of Atlantic City. And you can see why, that little bullseye there on New York at 10 p.m. Washington, D.C. also getting a lot of action. And we're talking damaging winds between 50 and 65 miles per hour. Those are the type that take down trees, can put them into your home, into cars, have 2 ways of getting warning. Boston will get into it by about midnight, and we all will be rid of it. Then it gets back to the plains tomorrow. David.
Ginger Z with us again tonight here. Ginger will be watching first thing in the morning. Thank you. In the meantime, tonight, we turn to this major error at the Supreme Court, what appears to be a major new ruling on an abortion rights case that was briefly posted on the court's website before that decision was supposed to be made public. Now, the case is the first since Roe to test a state abortion ban and whether federal law protects access to emergency abortion at the ER when a woman's health is at risk. The document signals that justices are poised to dismiss the case, sending it back to lower courts, which would allow emergency abortions in Idaho for now. This is the second time an abortion ruling got out early. You'll remember 2 years ago, an early draft of the decision overturning Roe was leaked months before it was announced. Terry Moran at the Supreme Court again tonight.
Tonight, an egregious error at the Supreme Court. Somehow, what appears to be a ruling from the justices on a major abortion case was temporarily published before it was supposed to be on the court's website. And it indicates that the court will allow some abortions in Idaho in emergency situations for now. The document was pulled down from the site within minutes, and the court issued a statement. The opinion has not been released, it said. The court's publications unit inadvertently and briefly uploaded a document to the court's website. The case marks the first time the justices are considering a state abortion ban since the court overturned Roe v. Wade 2 years ago. At issue, whether Idaho's ban on abortions, except when necessary to prevent death, takes precedence over the federal law guaranteeing that patients in emergency rooms get the emergency care they need, even in the rare cases when that might mean an abortion. The document today, reported and published by Bloomberg, indicates that by a vote of 6-3, the court's majority will send the Idaho case back down to the lower courts. Still, there were fiery opinions on both sides. Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson writing that the court missed an opportunity to rule on the law. Today's decision is not a victory for pregnant patients in Idaho, she wrote. It is delay. While this court dawdles and the country waits, pregnant people experiencing emergency medical conditions remain in a precarious position as their doctors are kept in the dark about what the law requires. And Justice Samuel Alito almost taunting his colleagues, saying the court should have ruled today to allow Idaho's ban to stand. Apparently, the court has simply lost the will to decide the easy but emotional and highly politicized question that the case presents. That is regrettable. The premature posting of this document, another serious mistake at the court, which has sought to tighten security after the draft of the Dobbs decision overturning Roe, written by Justice Alito, leaked months before it was announced.
So let's get right to Terry Moran. He's live at the court again tonight for us. Terry, the court making it very clear in this document, if it is to be believed, if it's the final document, that this is not the final opinion in this case.
That's right, David. Justices can revise their opinions up until the moment of an official release. And if this is the official ruling, then that means starting whenever it is released, the doctors in Idaho emergency rooms will be able to perform abortions if needed in order to prevent serious harm to a woman's health. David?
Terry Moran, you'll be standing by at the court tomorrow. We'll see if it comes tomorrow officially. Thank you, Terry. We turn now to the presidential debate tomorrow night. We will air it right here on ABC. President Biden and Donald Trump set to take the CNN stage in Atlanta, and the new poll just out tonight and what it shows. Who has the slight lead going into this? Here's our chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
Tonight, with just 24 hours to go, the stage is set and the candidates out of sight, both preparing for the biggest moment of the campaign so far. President Biden sequestering at Camp David for nearly a week, holding full-scale mock debates surrounded by more than a dozen aides. Donald Trump says that's not something he needs himself.
I think I've been preparing for it for my whole life, if you want to know the truth. And I'm not sure you can lock yourself into a room for 2 weeks or 1 week or 2 days and really learn what you have to know.
But behind the scenes, Trump has been preparing, talking policy with advisors, hoping to hit Biden on immigration and the economy. And sources tell ABC News Trump's campaign has also discussed how he should handle an array of thorny issues, including the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. Trump has vowed to pardon those convicted for their actions that day.
Or, as I often call them, the hostages. They're hostages.
But Trump's advisors are hoping that on the debate stage, he'll narrow that pledge and offer pardons only on a case-by-case basis. Biden is preparing to present Trump as a threat to democracy. His campaign setting the stage today with the endorsement of former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger, who served on the House January 6th committee. Kinzinger describing himself today as a conservative, firmly backing Biden.
Who's going to fight for people and who's going to fight for himself? I think there is nobody that believes that Donald Trump is more of a person committed to this country and to doing things for others than Joe Biden is.
Always good to have Mary Bruce here in New York, not in Washington for a change. You're here for our coverage tomorrow night. In the meantime, both campaigns know very well how close this race has been in the national polling. 1 or 2 points going back and forth for many weeks now. A new poll just out tonight on the eve of this first, earliest ever debate. And what does it show?
Well, David, this race continues to be neck and neck. This new poll shows Donald Trump, though, with a slight lead, up 4 points nationally. Now, the Biden campaign is well aware of this, and they see tomorrow night's debate really as a chance to break through to those critical, undecided voters who may not have fully engaged in this race yet and make clear to them the stark choice before them. And this poll also shows that a lot of people will be watching. It shows 73% of voters plan to tune in.
All right, Mary, you'll be right here with us. Thank you, Mary. Again, the debate tomorrow night. You can watch the CNN presidential debate right here on ABC. We will air it right here. Our team will be here starting at 8 p.m. Eastern to help set up the night, and then the debate at 9 p.m. Of course, we hope you'll watch right here with us. Mary, thank you. We turn to the other news here and to Russia tonight, where American journalist Evan Gershkovich is on trial for espionage. The U.S. calling it a sham trial. The Wall Street Journal reporter appearing before cameras for just minutes today with his head shaved. He was in a glass cage, the first American journalist put on trial there since the Cold War. Here's Martha Raddatz.
Tonight, Evan Gershkovich back behind bars after photographers got only a brief look at the young journalist. His head now shaved, but the same quick smile, even after 15 months in a Russian prison.
Have you managed to visit Evan?
Here?
Yeah.
No, we have not.
Gershkovich's trial on charges of espionage is being held in complete secrecy. The Russians arresting him in March of last year, accusing him without any evidence of spying for the U.S., the first journalist arrested in Russia since the Cold War, on charges that are being called a complete farce.
What happened today was a performance put on by Russian authorities to justify the repression of journalists and independent voices.
Gershkovich's editor at the Wall Street Journal calling the trial a travesty of justice and a bogus accusation that will inevitably lead to a bogus conviction for an innocent man. A conviction could mean 20 years in prison, and despite efforts by the U.S. to free him in a prisoner swap, his parents are concerned about just how much the 32-year-old can take.
U.S. officials put a significant offer on the table months ago to secure Evan's freedom as well as Paul Whelan's. And tonight, the State Department saying they continue to work privately to secure their release. David?
Martha Raddatz, who continues to report on this case. Thanks, Martha. Now to Boston, back here at home, to a murder trial making national news. No verdict yet tonight. 2 days of deliberations now. A girlfriend accused of killing her boyfriend, a Boston police officer, with her SUV. The defendant claims she never hit him, that it was all a police cover-up. And the tense moment in that courtroom just today. Here's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, day 2, and still no verdict in this closely watched murder case gripping the Boston area. Karen Reed accused of intentionally hitting her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her car in 2022, leaving him to die in the snow. But her legal team arguing that didn't happen, instead saying police engaged in a cover-up and that O'Keefe was left for dead after a fight inside the home of another officer. And today in court, a tense exchange between Reed's attorney and the judge over the verdict slip, the document the jury will ultimately have to fill out when they reach a decision.
How do they decide that she's not guilty of the first subordinate charge, involuntary manslaughter?
Okay. Anything else you want to say, Mr. Jackson?
I'd like an answer from the court. How do they decide that she's not guilty of involuntary manslaughter on that verdict form?
That's their decision to make.
The judge then admonishing Reed, seen here sitting next to her attorney, appearing to shake her head.
Excuse me? This is funny, Ms. Reed? All right, we're done.
Later today, the judge eventually agreeing to incorporate the proposed change. David, the jury heads back to court tomorrow to continue deliberations. All eyes are now trained on a possible verdict in this closely watched case. David?
Ariel Reshef on this case again tonight. Thank you. There is news tonight in the investigation into the death of actor Matthew Perry. Authorities want to know who supplied Perry with the illegal drug that killed him and what senior law enforcement sources are now signaling to ABC News. Here's Matt Rivers tonight.
Tonight, law enforcement sources tell ABC News multiple people could be charged in the death of Matthew Perry as the investigation into who supplied the actor with the drug ketamine comes to a close.
Requesting 2 additional units and a supervisor respond to Bluesdale Drive.
The 54-year-old Friends star was found unresponsive in his jacuzzi last October. An autopsy revealed Perry died of the acute effects of the drug ketamine after losing consciousness and likely slipping under the water. The actor had opened up about a long battle with addiction in his memoir, telling our Diane Sawyer just how bad it got.
55 Vicodin a day, which is where I was.
55.
Yeah.
Before he died, Perry was getting a ketamine infusion therapy for depression and anxiety, but the autopsy concluded the drug found in his system was not from that medical therapy. Ketamine is also used as a recreational drug, and investigators have been digging into who supplied Perry with the illegal ketamine that killed him.
Who was he talking to prior to that? Anybody that could possibly have given him ketamine. Was he getting it through the mail?
And David, we know this investigation has involved the U.S. Postal Service. The U.S. Attorney's Office will soon decide whether to bring charges in this case. David?
Matt Rivers in Los Angeles for us. Thank you, Matt. When we come back here, the images coming in tonight outside New York City, the tractor trailer slamming into multiple homes, what we know about the driver at this hour. We also remember a veteran actor known for so many roles, from The Bodyguard to The Sopranos. And Deborah Roberts tonight with the cast of the hit The Bear, right here tonight. Tonight, the images coming in from just outside New York City, a tractor trailer crashing into two homes in Carteret, New Jersey, the truck slamming into the back of both houses. Authorities say the driver suffered a medical incident. He's in critical condition at this hour. The truck was still in gear, the tires still spinning. Authorities say his foot was stuck on the accelerator. They actually had to break through a window to get him out. When we come back here tonight, remembering a beloved actor from Night at the Museum to The Bodyguard to The Sopranos. And tonight, Deborah Roberts with the cast of The Bear. To the index of other news tonight, we learned today that actor Bill Cobbs has died, a veteran actor for more than 50 years, appearing in more than 120 movies and TV shows, including The Bodyguard and Night at the Museum. Former co-stars remembering him as a true gentleman. Bill Cobbs was 90 years old. Tonight, two giant pandas will soon be right here in the U.S., China holding a farewell ceremony for Yun Chuan and Sing Bao. They will make their debut at the San Diego Zoo in the coming weeks after adjusting for a few weeks once they get here to the U.S. When we come back here tonight, the hit show about a restaurant. Tonight, Deborah Roberts with the cast of The Bear and how they describe the show in one word. Finally tonight here, the hit show The Bear is back. The new season now streaming on Hulu. Deborah Roberts with the cast here this evening, turning up the heat in the kitchen.
Fire everything right now! Yes, chef.
Yes, chef, The Bear is back and bringing more heat from the kitchen.
If you could describe The Bear in one word, The Bear is?
Pressure.
Hopeful.
The Bear is
human. The Bear is human.
It's the smash hit about a restaurant in major need of a revamp after a family tragedy.
I have every intention of turning this into a respectable place of business.
What is it about this collection of characters that people just gravitate toward?
I think that feeling of loneliness met by the need for belonging and then feeling like you're a part of something bigger than yourself, that's such a human and universal thing.
The Bear's cooking up new drama in his highly anticipated third season.
There is chaos, there is intensity, and the way it's shot, your heart is truly pounding. Watching you all, do you feel that as you're filming it?
It's shot in a very visceral way. It's a real marriage between the actors and the crew. It is so volatile, and there's real flames and real knives in the kitchen.
Real knives.
Small spaces.
Jeremy Allen White plays Carmi, a talented young chef who's come back home to Chicago to run the family restaurant.
Have your cooking skills improved?
Yeah.
Mine have gotten worse.
I got to go to culinary school. I started it at absolute zero, so it's not difficult to get better when you're that terrible going in.
Smoked cherry.
Ayo Adebari charming audiences as Sydney, the passionate, ambitious sous chef by Carmi's side as he launches The Bear.
I think the root of their relationship is its passion and its respect, and it's seeing that same fire. They want to push themselves and they want to push each other. Is it always the best? I don't know, but I think that's maybe the root of it.
When we made this show, there were very little expectations, and I feel like our climb has been really exciting, really gratifying. It's a good thing, Dad. It's a good thing.
It's definitely a good thing. Our thanks to Deborah Roberts. It's quite a show, and the cast really is everything. The new season on Hulu. I'm David Muir. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you for making World News Tonight with David Muir, America's most watched newscast.